Good afternoon, everybody. John Bartz here with ITNAmerica. Thank you for joining us today for the ITNCountry platform and demo. Again, my name is John Bartz. I'm the marketing manager here at ITNAmerica. And with me today is Ian Rebels, our community outreach manager. How you doing, Ian?
I can't complain.
All
Excited to
right,
get started.
let's do this. And if you have any questions today, please feel free to pop those into the chat function and we'll get to those at the end. But first, what I'd like to do is take a quick step back, talk a little bit about ITNAmerica. We've been around for 30 plus years, and we focus on mobility for older adults and people with mobility challenges. We do that through technology, research, policy analysis, and education. And much of the data that we use for that comes from the ITNCountry platform. We have four focus areas that we call the four pillars here at ITNAmerica. First one being the ITN Rides software, and that's the ride coordination software that's built into the ITNCountry platform. But as we talk about the platform, we'll talk about so much more on that platform than just the ITN Rides software. The community in the cloud is a great online learning and support system. If you can put that into the chat as well, Ian, that would be great. People can go out and check out the community in the cloud. A great learning resource for both organizations that have been around for a long time and those that are just getting into the business of launching an organization. Next is the Rides Insight database. This is a free, searchable online website where people can go and find their local transportation providers. And ITNAmerica manages over 10,000 of these providers in this database. Ian, if you can put that in the website as well, too, or in the chat, excuse me, it'd be great. And I would suggest that you go out to the Rides Insight database, search for your own organization, make sure that you're coming up, and make sure all the data is correct. There's links on there for you to reach out to us to let us know if the data is not correct, or if you can't find yourself, we'd like to get you on that database as well. So ITNAmerica manages that website, over 10,000, both for-profit and nonprofit transportation providers. And this helps the end user or the riders find their local transportation in their area. Next is America's Volunteer Driver Center. We know that one of the biggest challenges that you have is finding volunteer drivers. There's a lot of demand out there for rides, but finding those drivers is a big challenge. So what we are going to do here in 2025 is kick off America's Volunteer Driver Center. And it's going to be a brand new website. And what we're going to do is bring together you, the providers, and the volunteer drivers, and we're going to help you find drivers for your organization. We're going to do that through a national public awareness campaign, very large nationwide advertising program, and we'd like to get you signed up and registered for this. It's free, and you do not need to be a part of ITNAmerica to take advantage of this. So in the new year, we'll be reaching out to you via email, asking you to register, and we'll get that information from you and get you up on the system. And in 25 and in 2026, we'll be launching this national public awareness campaign. So let's dive into the ITNCountry platform. Again, it's so much more than just the ITN Rides software. This is where we are bringing together the marketing support that you need to reach out for community engagement, as well as the financial and reporting tools that you need. And then we'll talk a little bit about the reimbursement programs, those innovative payment reimbursement programs from one of our national sponsors. So let's dive into the technology a little bit here. Lots of bullets, and we'll make sure that we provide this slide deck for you afterwards as well, too. And I won't go through every single one of them, but I do want to mention the fact that we are built on the Salesforce platform. It's the #1 CRM platform in the world. So that means it's very robust, very strong, and very secure. And ITNCountry lives on the Salesforce platform. Over 130 fields in the Salesforce platform. So when we talk about creating reports or applying for grants, this data is very important. And this is where we're getting a lot of this data for grant applications that you will be able to leverage as well too. Real quickly, the simplified billing for third-party payers. If you do charge third parties for that rides, very simple and seamless process there. The marketing toolkit is a core group of programs we've come up with so that we can reach out to the communities and you can reach out to your communities. We know that one of the most popular rides, aside from healthcare rides, is rides to the beauty shop. So we've come up with a ride and shop program that helps you reach out to your local business providers, including beauty shops, to get them involved in your community, in your service, and help pay for a portion of or all of those rides. That's the ride and shop program. We also do that through Healthy Miles for our healthcare providers. So you can reach out to the doctors, dentists, podiatrists to help get them involved, let them know about your service, and they can also help invest in your service by making sure that their patients get a ride, safe ride to and from their offices. So we provide the marketing support, the collateral, everything that you need to help explain this information to them. And then, of course, our ITNCountry platform, it works within that program, within our platform as well. The car trade program is another great program for all those vehicles sitting in driveways that are rusting and not being used anymore or lightly used. This is a great opportunity for your riders to trade their car in for ride credits. And we help you with that transaction as well too. So a nationwide program for your riders to be able to trade in their car, and you're able to receive the funds from that car and then provide them ride credits. And again, it's all within the platform. Our drivers love the Transportation Social Security platform. This is something that as they drive for you month after month, year after year, they can bank these credits and use them for possible future need as a rider. Or if they'd like to give them away through the Road Scholarship Program, they can donate their ride credits. And this is all through the ITNCountry platform. These are optional programs. You do not have to use them, but this is really something that really sets us apart. And then lastly, the gift certificates that are very popular with our folks during the holidays. So Community in the Cloud, Ian, not sure if we put the link in there earlier or not, but again, this is going to be going through a big upgrade here in 2025. It's actually going onto the Salesforce platform along with ITNCountry. So a great knowledge base both for new providers and existing providers. If you have questions on our ITN Ride software, you can come out here to the Community in the Cloud, and it's actually integrated into our software. Ian's going to show you that a little bit later as well too. And then the reimbursement programs we talked about. Thanks to Regeneron, we're able to offer $15 per ride to you as you give rides to your riders to the eye care screenings, to eye care treatments, or even if they're just going to get their glasses. It does not have to be specifically to the eye care doctor. It could be any of those three eligible rides. And it's actually $15 per ride, so that round trip, $30. And in our platform, very easy to report on this on a quarterly basis and get paid out for that. And that's thanks to Regeneron. They've been doing that for quite a few years now, and we appreciate that. Your organization is very unique from everybody else. And we understand that. So the ITNCountry platform is easily customizable, seamlessly, right at the beginning during onboarding, whether you charge for rides or you don't charge for rides, if you have all volunteer drivers, or if you also have some paid drivers, reimbursements in cash or credit, and whether you have your own vehicles or personally owned vehicles or organization owned vehicles. And then membership dues. If you have membership dues annually, we can help you out with that. That's easy to put into the system as well. If you don't, that's okay too. And then all the different ride purposes and ancillary services. You may have a specific service that you offer that many of our other members don't, and we can absolutely customize that and put that into the system as well. And I think Ian's going to touch on that as well here in the demo, which is right now. So let me go ahead and stop sharing. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll answer those at the end.
Yep. All right. Thanks, John. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now. Before I do, I just want to let everybody know that this is going to be a very much a 10,000-foot overview demo of our software. Can't, for the sake of time, I can't go into every little detail. So if you have any questions about anything in particular, you want me to go into more detail on anything, I'm happy to meet with anyone one-on-one at the end of this presentation. We'll drop a link to my calendar so we can schedule some time to talk about that if you want to, deep dive into any particular parts of our software platform. But without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. John, give me a thumbs up when we can all see it.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so hopefully everyone can see it now. Yeah, so this is the homepage of the staff portal. This is where your ride coordinators and anyone else that has a license will be using predominantly. And there's a few things I just wanted to touch on this home screen. Of course, all of this has been very intentionally designed to be as simple as possible, really to reduce cognitive overload, to make it accessible by screen readers. We even have an affiliate who has a ride coordinator that's almost completely blind, and they can use a screen reader to still coordinate rides. So that's pretty cool. We're proud of that. And we also have the ability to customize pretty much any of this green text. We can customize this powered by ITNCountry. You can put uh, your organization's logo up here, things like that is all customizable for you. So I'm going to go into these blue buttons up top here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go into the application forms for entering a new driver, a new rider, or a new contact if you want to, add a donor or someone into the system. But these are just basic application forms for intake for new drivers and riders. But the main things I wanted to touch on is one, we got these training videos here. So this goes to the community in the cloud that John was talking about earlier. These are YouTube style videos. They're no longer than 5 to 7 minutes and will pretty much cover everything you'd want to know about ITN Ride's platform. If you have any questions about anything, having any hangups, you're likely going to find the answer in one of these videos. But if you're you like to read more, we also have help articles as well. This will bring us, if I click on this, it'll bring us to the big long manual that I'm not going to show right now because it's quite long, so we'll skip that part for now. And the other thing I wanted to show is this submit a case form. So this form is great. So we have two people every day looking at this during normal business hours, responding to these cases. Obviously, we want you to kind of triage your need at that time. So if your operations all systems down, like you cannot work, obviously we're going to get back to you quickly. But if it's something else, you have a question, a feature request, maybe you need help building a report, that's something we can help you out with as well. And we usually get back to these within 24 hours. So moving on to the fun part, we're going to go to manage rides now. This is where your ride coordinators are going to be looking at mostly. And I have set up a couple fake rides here. Obviously, this is a demo environment. It's no one's actual information in here. So a couple things to note on this page. If you go and highlight over the rider or the driver, you can see some basic information about them. You can see what kind of car they have, what accommodations their car has. Fred, fake user here, he has a passenger bus. It's wheelchair accessible. And this is obviously good to know for someone, say, they only have a walker, so they don't necessarily need a wheelchair accessible vehicle. But if they were, you'd be able to know that because obviously you don't want someone showing up with a Toyota Corolla to pick up somebody in a wheelchair. That wouldn't be great for either party. So these two, so this example rider has already been assigned a Fred Fake user. I'll show you what that looks like on the driver's side in a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to go through real quick the various ways that you can pair riders with drivers. So the main, say the most common way that most of our sites currently do it is this manual approach where you just simply click, you want to click on the empty space. If you don't, it'll bring up their Salesforce page. So important, just click on this empty space, and then you would click this arrow to show all the available drivers. It'll only show drivers who can accommodate this rider. So they wouldn't say, for example, if they needed a wheelchair accessible vehicle, they would only show drivers that have a wheelchair accessible vehicle. Um, and also obviously when they've said what times they can work. So you'd hit that, you'd hit assign, and that would assign them to them. The other way that you can do it is using this generate routes function. This is used by our bigger affiliates that have, maybe 20 plus rides a day. And this is a really cool feature because when you hit this, I'm not going to do it because it takes a while to load because it has to cross-check everything, make sure all the riders' needs are met, and it also tries to find the most efficient way to pair riders with drivers. And it really just will do it automatically for you. So if you're doing a ton of rides, you can hit that generate routes button and it'll pair drivers and riders for you automatically. But most of the sites do like to do it manually. And there's another way, which I'll show you a little bit later what that looks like, where you can have the volunteer drivers pick and choose what rides they want on their screen. And I'll show you that a little bit later when we get to the driver's portal. So we're going to move on to the book a ride. So this is the most common way folks ask for rides. They'll just, ring, call your ride coordinator, ask for a ride. They can do it in the driver's portal, but more often than not, they just call in. So let's make a fake rider, example rider, make a fake ride request. And the purpose, obviously very important for reporting purposes, especially for the, let's say those eye care appointments in particular, because you get reimbursements for those. So you're going to want to do those eye care purposes for that so you can easily report on those and send those back to us so we can get you reimbursed for those. So let's say example rider needs to go get to their eye care appointment. So you can see a couple details about them, mobility aids, service needs, any customer notes that they might have about them. And yeah, so down here you'll see ride one, the start location always defaults to the home address for said rider. And the end location, let's just say I'm not too familiar with the main area, so we'll just assume that 90 Bridge Street, Westbrook is an eye care facility. They need to be picked up at, say, 10 a.m. And then it'll give that estimated drop-off time using, and this is using Google Maps to estimate that drop-off time. And you can add a stop, say they need a stop at a bank or something. You can add stops along the way, all that good stuff. And then you can also change the load timer. So say they are in a wheelchair, for example, or they just take a little bit longer to get in a car, you can change that load time to, it takes them 10 minutes to get on, and it'll change that estimated drop-off time automatically for you. And there's a couple other buttons down here. It's mostly if you charge for rides. I know a lot of folks don't charge for rides, but if you do, these are important because you might have, say it's a same day request, you might charge a little bit more for that, or after hours, you might charge a little bit more for that. Things like that you can add, or if they want to ride share. And once you did that, you hit save requests, and then it'll pop up over on that manage rides tab. So we're going to go to this drivers tab now.
And real quickly, Ian,
Yeah.
just wanted to let everybody know, for some reason, the chat function is not working today for us. It might have been turned off, but the Q&A
Okay.
is. You can go over to the Q&A and put your questions in there. We've got one question in there right now. We'll answer at the end. So yeah, use Q&A and not the chat. Thanks.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. So driver's page here, this is really just an overall calendar view. Nothing too exciting about this, just shows all of the drivers you've got in your system, what days they're available to work and what times they're available to work. So nothing too interesting to look through there. So now we're going to go to the uncovered rides tab. So this is how you would start the process for enabling your volunteer drivers to pick their rides. So once have these uncovered rides for today, you would hit the release rides button, and that would then show up on the volunteer drivers portal, which I'll show you in a little bit after this. But one more thing I did want to show on this uncovered rides page is pretty cool feature. Say you're really in a pinch and someone, maybe one of your drivers canceled on you or something, and you just need to find a driver to pick up one of these riders. You can hit this available drivers button, include all the available drivers that are still available for the day, and you can email all of them, as many as you want, and see if any of them can pick up this ride. So if you're in a pinch, it's a really great way to, just reach out, see if anyone can cover that ride. It's all built into the system. So we think that's pretty cool. So one more thing I wanted to show you on this staff portal is this more tab. I'm not going to go into all of these for the sake of time, but the important ones I wanted to go into is one is the reports. So these are all Salesforce reports. This is one of the benefits of our platform being on Salesforce. So we can pretty much report on anything under the moon that you might need. We have some built-in reports, of course, but if there's a specific kind of report, like say, I need to know exactly how many miles we drove this past month, we can build that report for you. If you're not super comfortable building reports in Salesforce, it can be a little finicky, but we are more than happy to build a report for whatever you may need. We know how important it is for having all these various reports for like grant writing purposes, for example. So very important that we can report on pretty much everything. We have over 100 fields that we can report on. So pretty much anything you can think of, we can build a report for it. So the other thing I wanted to show really quick on this tab is the settings page. So this really only important if you charge for rides. If you don't charge for rides, this doesn't really apply to you as much, but this is where you would change how much you charge for each ride, how much you charge for, miles, charge membership rates. If you want to use birthday credits or referral credits, you can put them in here. If you're reimbursing your drivers for mileage, that's all done automatically here, and you can change the reimbursement rates. Occupied miles just means when they're actually driving someone. Unoccupied miles means, the to and from when they're not driving somebody, all that good stuff. And also on this homepage, I forgot to mention, I just want to say really quick, we are going to be implementing a chat bot very soon. So you'll be able to, if you have any questions, just ask in that chat bot, and you'll probably be able to find an answer to pretty much any question you have there. So on that note, I'm going to move on to the drivers portal. So this is the drivers portal. This is what your volunteer drivers will see when they log in. It looks very similar to staff portal, and it looks almost exactly the same as the riders portal. So I'm not going to go into that for now. We have those training videos, so if they have any questions on how to use this, they can go to those training videos. Some basic information here, what kind of car they have, the expiration date, all that good stuff. So let's go into the driver profile page. Some basic information here, but a quick thing to note, they can't change once they're inputted into the system, they can't change their information themselves. They have to call in to change that. And we did that intentionally because let's say, for example, they used to have a, wheelchair accessible car, and now they have like, a Ford Edge. It might be difficult to put a wheelchair in that. That's something you probably want to know when they change that, just so for the sake of your rider's experience. The other thing I wanted to show on this page is the default availability. So this is where they can change these, obviously, when they're available, what days they're available of the week, and they can change this, but with the caveat that they cannot change it within 24 hours. So say it's Thursday today, they wouldn't be able to change what hours they can work for Friday if they are. They'd have to, if they need to cancel, or even add hours if they can work Friday, they have to call in the ride coordinator to make that change within 24 hours. But beyond that, they're able to change their time that they're available. So we're gonna go to the My Rides tab. So this is the wrong day. Oh, we have everything on Friday. So these are the two rides that Fred's been assigned to. And a really cool function that we're super proud of here is our View Manifest button. This is super helpful for our drivers. Our drivers love it. It just makes their life so much easier. And it's important to keep your volunteer drivers happy because they are a hard thing to get more of. So we've clicked this View Manifest button. This is for that example ride that they got that they're going to. Um, this one they're going to the pharmacy. So you can see some location notes here. Located in the middle of Rotary. You may need to go around to get to the entrance of the driveway. So this is good things to know just for the drivers so they don't get caught up on anything. There's rider statuses here. So these will actually update in real time for the ride coordinator. If you want them to use this, you can click that. It'll auto update on the ride coordinator side to say pickup. And this is for drop off. This is for canceled and for no show. If you just want to know the status of where the ride is, they can input this if they like. And then, of course, you can get this get directions button. So they don't have to input the addresses or anything themselves. They can just hit on their smartphone or whatever device they're using that has internet access. Um, they can click that get directions button and it'll just show them, standard Google Maps route so they don't have to go looking for it themselves. And yeah, and this is just the ride back as well, the second ride. So the other thing I want to note on the My Rides page, they're not going to show up here because I haven't released the rides yet, but if there were in any uncovered rides, they would show up here, and this is how your volunteers would be able to pick rides. They would pop up here. If they can cover it, they can hit accept. That'll go over to the ride coordinator and they'll confirm it, and then they'll pick up that ride. So I know a lot of programs that we have, they have their volunteer drivers pick their own rides. So we want to make sure that that functionality is super easy to do here as well. So financial summary, nothing too exciting here. This Fred is getting reimbursed for his mileage. So you can see he's getting these mileage credits, reimbursements. You can see how he wants to get reimbursed. Fred's a nice guy, so any unoccupied miles, he's just donating to the ITN or whatever site. You can have it donate back to you. You can make payments. So if you click on this, for example, if you're a rider and you got to make payments, you can do that. Or if you want to make a donation, you can do that. And this do this automatically. You don't have to go through a third-party program like PayPal or something to pay those extra fees. And then on last tab on the driver's portal is the availability tab in a calendar form. So his default hours, for example, here is set to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He can work from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. But you can add one-off hours. So this won't be your default hours. This will just be, hey, I've got Saturday off or I got Friday off. I can work some extra hours there. They can go ahead and add those extra hours as long as it's not with under 24 hours. If they want to add within 24 hours, they have to call the ride coordinator. But yeah, just a great way for them to add some extra hours if they want to. Super easy for them to do. So yeah, so that pretty much covers the 10,000-foot overview of the staff portal and the driver's portal. Like I said, if you're interested in any other aspects, and you go into more detail of anything, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to see that rider's portal, feel free to reach out to me. We can do that at a different time. But for the sake of time, we're going to end on that for now. So I'll pass it back to you, John, and I'll stop sharing as I know you have a couple more things to share with everyone before we go to Q&A.
Okay, sounds good. Hopefully you can see my screen here.
I see it.
Great overview there. And I know, for sake of time, Ian did not dive into everything there. So if you want to get a more in-depth demonstration, Ian's more than happy to do that on a one-on-one basis as well, too. So thanks for that, Ian. He's also got lots of success stories to share. If you'd like to reach out to him as well, we'd love to share some of the success we've had with these folks here. Woodford Wheels, Lifestyles, and Lions Disability Transport Service. He can send you those PDFs as well, too. Into your promotions, should you be excited about what you see today and are able to enter into a contract by the end of the year, we've got a couple of end of year promotions here for you that you could take advantage of. One being the free data migration. That's up to 16 hours of data that we would migrate from a current software solution into our solution. And the 16 hours, that is roughly 99% of our clients are within that 16 hours of data migration services. So a 3-year agreement up to December 31st, you would get free data migration for that. Now, if you don't have any data to migrate, if this is your first software platform, we'd love to give you a 10% discount should you be able to go into an agreement by 12/31. Ian's got more details on that as well, too. I think we're going to put your Calendly link into the chat. Real briefly, also wanted to give a little promo about our annual meeting. We do this every year. ITNAmerica brings together all of its members, its affiliates, TTPs, and ITNCountry sites, as well as people in the industry. And we'll be getting together here in about a month in Portland, Maine, and you can learn more about that at itnannualmeeting.org as well, too. So, and we'll put this all in an email after this webinar. So that pretty much ends our presentation today. Go ahead and put any questions that you have in the Q&A. I did receive a question in there about the Ride and Shop program. So let me go to that question there. Is the Ride and Shop payment invoiced to the client or part of their bill from the provider? So that's really up to you as the solution provider and the small business, and how much they choose or wish to provide for the ride. If they're willing to give $5 for that ride, if your ride costs more, if they're willing to pay for the entire ride, you can bill them for the entire ride. But that's really dependent upon that small business owner, or for the doctor's offices, dentists, etc. So any small business, any large business in your community can take advantage of those Ride and Shop offers. And we have all the collateral that you can pass out and help market those services to your community. Let's see, do we background check drivers who volunteer for organizations? So no, we do not do the background checks. ITNAmerica, we actually don't do any rides at all. We are the parent organization, the national network, and all of our network members are the actual providers that do that. So we can certainly share with you some background check companies that we know our other members use if you need help with background checking. And if that's a question for our America's Volunteer Driver Center campaign that's kicking off next year, we will not be doing that as well, too. We will just be introducing you, the provider, to all of those drivers, potential drivers, and it will be up to you to do the background checks. So
yeah, we do require it, though. Yes. It's part of the agreement, and we have an expectation that you will do it, because obviously that's something you should do. But yeah, we don't do it ourselves, like John said, but we do expect you to do it, and it's written in the agreement. But yeah, it was really great having you all here. Thanks for bearing with us, the first webinar we've put on so far. So we're gonna be doing many more of these quarterly, but appreciate everyone in attendance.
I believe another question came in again. Let's see, ITNCountry and ITNAmerica, what is the difference? So ITNAmerica, let me go back to that slide where we talked about ITNAmerica.
This is a great question.
Yeah, great question. Actually, I'm going to go to this slide here. So ITNAmerica has been around for 30 plus years, and we are the parent organization here, and we provide a lot of different opportunities and services for the end solution provider in the local communities. So we have ITN affiliates that are a higher level of member. And then we've got the ITNCountry members as well. And then the trusted transportation providers that Ian mentioned as well, too. We help you create and sustain community-based transportation programs and help you out throughout the way. Through grant writing, we've got all kinds of videos and helpful knowledge bases on how to create and maintain your organization. So like we said, so much more than just the software itself. It's an entire platform and an entire network. Let's see if there's any more questions.
And hopefully everyone's able to, yeah, I shared my calendar link in the chat. Hopefully everyone's able to see that. I know you can't type in the chat, unfortunately. But hopefully you can use those links to the Rides Insight link, the Community in the Cloud link, that one, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully you can go out there to that Rides Insight website, check on your own account, make sure we've got all your information in there, and then suggest any changes, or if you're unable to find your own organization in there too, we want to make sure that we get you up there as well. So I think that's pretty much it, Ian. And we really appreciate everybody joining us today. Again, we are recording this, and we'll get this up on YouTube next week. We will send you that link, as well as all of the other links and everything that we talked about today. And we thank you for your time today and look forward to chatting with you soon. Please feel free to reach out to Ian at any time. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your day.